In the thriving of a season for the catching of a fistful of the sun and riding down for the dust. In the thriving of a season for the catching of a fistful of the sun and riding down for the dust in the air for the crib. But this will be the first shot for the bringing back to the screen and destroy the treasures rather the treasure bare hand for the back of the darkness of the hill for the silence for the fasting of a her for the deaf ear for the mute tongue and the devil hatching of the young throat. Now the ghosts will be gone for the emphasis for the over the mirror for the trees of the pools of the brown, the blue, the uprising of the wood for the spreading red revolution for the mind for the can't believe for the birth of his father for the dead for the to believe that for the it was she was quick enough for the forgive the pain for the temper for the she was quick to fever there for your blood. Now for the thriving season of love for when you find the bud relentless into the flower for the lover to turn after the absence and turn once more for the enough of the beauty for the falling in love for this rain for the flutter for because it glows grovely what remember of love. You will find these statements of this to be the only an accurate document. It's a documentation for that you can find in the patience and never have that pride for the complaint. The sunlight for the shadow and the thriving season. You have that memory where it was past tense and just to face that for the evidence of the face of my love naked and the more than I can love could bear for the red with the sun for the, how many times could I cross you for the kids and the message missing the petals of the wind and pass them out. The sparrow Twitter for the wave for the breath for the beginning of the world for the so that for the you can let my rubber remember me love. That was the one that you were thinking of. Afterthoughts and that for the lovers, the poems, the distant imagining for the only the summer for the roses, for the running down with the loose lips, and this is the hazard for the runner around with the book for the butterflies and the poison. This is the net for the noon for the distant thinking of a signing for the holy ball for the season for the voices staring at the feet for that for the marble squares. So this would be the Henry there for trying not to hear for the sweet lady. You can find a plague as a queen. If that half for the outline for the full-blown summer for the for the dwindling for the light for the be the blight for the autumn for the green and trees and shedding over the leaves of the brought that for the dreams and such as that for the mind for the proud for the flesh. And I had a set for the teeth on love for the only the pointed fingers to that for the future. I give forgiveness and that for the no for the violence and the seal that for the immortality for us and you can need that for the thinking of love for the fisting of a son for the imperfect gifts over the passing that for the older around shade. Fragments from the future. You hope that for the upcoming, for the state, for the fairs, and this is the fear for the face. And truth sometimes comes out for the point, rather for the presence in the sky for the garden we share. And after fear for the raging and hope there for the odd places, and you have that for the reverence and the trying to travel the place. And this would be the only the best I can find that for the transcript, and you have that for the holding of the lip, for the talking out of your the goods for our future. Sometimes you make a rhyme. And I'll notice you hold the pen for your mind. Finds the rhythm for the complete, and this will be the syllables to make it over the haiku. I to you for the night for the warming of the world, for the past talk of the back, for this will be what you heard is true, and I for find that for the pause. What calls? Who heard that? What sound? What brings you forward here? You're not a professional or profound, for this to be the astounded, maybe the asshole that she could be reminded for that she didn't want to hold that accountability for this to be the response. Saying nothing. Silence. Holding that memory of who she used to be. But who is she now? I have no clue. But I sing, try to keep a smile. You can hold that chemistry for it might look like that something what's known as a memory for the skill of a hand for the cultivating for the you and how the others to maintain the right for the cultivating of the brain for this you have to find right now for just be the vein what's in sleep this night for the uproar for the civil rights that you can keep that for the mouth shut. Then I go to now for the growth so this will be the safety for the buying what you could don't afford or what's it breathe for this will be the property for the will for the will for the will for the helping when they're making the laws the steal for the will for the cause of the trump for that cause. Never matter what you can cash you got for the speaking the soft and enough for the feel your little pain for the remember the little me for the seems to be the I won't degree. You do find that soliloquy. Maintain that cultivation of the brain. Keep up your energy and hope it's positive. You don't want to stain that white cloth so much that it would be appear in colors, not in whites to be washed. You whitewash your brain and wash this for the only attain that you're doing Satan's aims and playing that for possessing that for the breaths. Maybe I could confess I do miss the breast of maybe her juice, maybe the way that you can find it. You look in the face when you wake up, even in the morning or the never morning, or by any anything, it was only soaring, with the flights of new heights, and I have a wing, and there's been finding things in life, and I can bring that for the only debate, the older table, then now the tables are turned, and dinner's too far around for me, I have food for thought. Where was that love lost, and this will be the cost that I have to pay, and I couldn't pay attention for my dreams, and turn the converter to memories, and the lucid and experience, and even she was lucid, never the delirious, and never you could find a crossroads for the issues, and even now, for the tissue, the stick up my nose at the boogers, and running fine, and I can find that for who I couldn't look back the other direction, I must move forward now. Cause the mind tricks the body thinks the mind's crazy, whatever thinks you find what's lazy. You were the point of that for this who couldn't fade me. Shit. Poetry, a freedom from perspective, a freedom from making sense, and there is no understanding this. Dots fade in and out of my mind, and sometimes I can even find a connection. My pencil has a sharp mind and thoughts of its own, and that's understated but overwhelming, so I wrinkle this pages, illustrate a sentiment, didn't care for the cautious word, because your actions speak louder than verbs, like armies and footnotes on no ground to cover. I revise my wants to fit my needs, give it my inner emotion sickness until you come along, sensitized and pump with erasable pens. This would be the meaning for the yesterday. For the yesterday was just a man before tomorrow. For the 24 hours ago was yesterday. Joy riding in the front seat of a van, driven by infidelity, running over the spirits and killing pregnant hopes. And maybe that's the reason why you don't smile much anymore. Too much of my plate to be absorbed and leaked out for the dip of this plate. But I'm tired of writing night clocks, knowing no existence. I want to rest these hands now. Suggest you speaking numbers because your words never add up, but you're drowning in a sea of hours. Ladder to my unspoken words, filling my lungs, and I'm choking on everything that you didn't say. But maybe I recycle the pages of your mental notes and place my resistance on the back burner like a blind man, sitting my good looks, and I'll be routed tomorrow. I'll get by with yesterday in my pocket. In the morning, reclaim the self-fine and be stagnant. Silent handcuffed in my bed won't wound you. Be unusual today. This world is polluted with your outline and echo, but I'll lend my compassion to the 24 hours without simplification to multiply itself for the sun, food me to leaving behind a bright future. As the war between my mind leads me to sleep again, so shake me into get the effect you desire by now. Counseling for the members of concept, guitar strings dangling above my nose at a vision. Sipping in warm tea for companionship, like songs in love with themselves. So never mind the paper cuts and scars left for these hands. You'll try to curse something in the fluid lines. But nevertheless, this month issue was honest in you. Find me the centerfold of a playboy touching the private matters and revealing the naked truth. And hope you did question much of his peers with comments to follow. So shake me to get the effect you desire by now. Counseling for the members of concept, guitar strings dangling above my nose with a vision. Sipping good warranty for companionship like a song in love with itself. So each rhythm was made to the type of the vibration to give me sweet fascinations. And we all we needed. This world is hungry. MCs a great amounts of dedication, but it's too much to celebrate with me. They're high. Shape that for the kind of life. For this to be the model. For the motive. For the this to be the Babylon. For the mold. For the mold. And no why. For the woman. For what did I see? For the accept by myself. Here on this bridge between the stars shine and the clay mind. Find my days. For this to be the gone. For this to be the live without divine knowledge. For this with the one hand holding me tight. For the other hand. For the only to find and celebrate. For the be that every day. For this something and try to kill me for this family. And I can find those moments and memories in detail for the self-intervention, for the exile, for the deviance, so you can find a distillation for the mind dream about that, for the being, message for the creative one. You find that dream for about the second for the coming, the garden of delight. You can't be married for the old self, for the you remember for the old woman without the shoe, for the didn't believe it, for the you cannot bear to start to bubble, for the leaving they print for the finger, for the word no man judges, for the no for the word that melts away, for this is where the stranger uses wait for. Here's that dress for the life of this to be the only one and only with it doesn't believe it, for the something is dropped and should have told the knife and the calling of false, but she feeds it. She feeds the devil for the holding fire and what to see, for this to be the old ancient God, for this the garden of delight, for this mention for the crazy woman, for this to be the drama if she could see. More than a fantasy for the figment of the imagination, for the bare smooth, for the depth of the blue eye, for the rounding, for the open, the crevice of the world, for this is extravagant enough for the water, for the mouth, the wide enough for the washing together, for the forever, the summer, the be the fire, for the summer, the air, for the sim, and the certain, for the syllables and the elements, for the this to be the searching, for the life, for the before the Eden. For them, let her rest, this would be the best you can find in your life, for this would be the antic, the message to that crazy woman. For the mother that couldn't see, for the sprawling of what you could find decorating, for the this to be the back, for the holding the hair, for the holding the mirrors up, for the reflecting over the aspects of your Lucy, for the mama that couldn't hear, for the she wouldn't hear, for the over the rolling over the corners and laying down, and exotic for the way for the Lucy sides, and this is spiders explaining after the obscure God. And mama could talk for she could talk for him, but she was a good girl for the whatever that she couldn't clean up her room, but then maybe she would straighten it up. She could make up her mind, but make up lies. make up the dub for the spies, for the this be the spies, for the fact, for the this be the crazy one that I can find the message, what I'm dreaming about, for the second coming, for the this be the one that I can find, the only that I can find, the black heel, for the only understanding of a wife, for different, never afraid of nothing. For her I wore, for the set of the feather, for the did not dance and not for the for the I can wear the rose of medicine, for the strong, for the enough, for the be the only black basket, for the fingers to come again, for the so I can be the hoop, jumping through that, for the breaking of the firebirds in four directions. Dreamers are running out for the hills and not seeing it all, and I can be more than a thrill. More than a dollar bill, more than that for the dream, for the second coming, for the more, for the you, for the dream, for the about the fox, the death, for the didn't believe it, for the bread of the belly start to bubble, for the leaving of the print, for the finger, for the way you could find that, for the no man touch it, disobedient doesn't know, believe it, or whether you can find it, what feeds it. You are a terrible mess, and I feel that you can do better than that.
Drop that crap they feed you, slowly kill that for the them before they kill you. For the kind of voodoo, for the donor, the restroom, for the so far bed that you go trying to store, but up the demon, for the denoted, for the road to you, for the blue block, for the block the sun, for the focus in the abracadabra. It's all that you can have. That's for the scraps, and you can holler what you want to. Perhaps you can be for the point of view, for the noble, the new one for this what you don't want to do. For the you couldn't come, for the didn't want that, you didn't want to. For the two of us, for the pondering, for the you can find the dodge that for the harm, for the me, not the harmony, for the harm, for the value. Harm for the values and hurt for the trust that I gave you. Took in mind back for the peace and to be steady for the love. But it was the same love, but it was a selfless love of the vain. Love doesn't live here anymore, but the wishing it would never came. Should've never been here for the lonely and lone. I came in all the loans and game. Watched you leave for the golden stove. My happiness and clouded would be with the rain for the lane. The puddles and the reflection, the pain for the wretches. There's no reaction to the pain, heart for the bleeding down the drain. The drive out the doubt. Game for the saints and that for choose to stay for the fabric. Fabricated and inebriated for the wine, the wine, the wind of this a humping Wednesday for the whenever the answers to the questions that they're calling block numbers to this is the only sheep is the plane me the hell's narrated overtime for the coaching with no strategy for the accountability for the apology, no apathy for the plot to lies apparently for this would be the occasion case of that casualty for the casualty usually you usually be gotta go for the only way to know for the trying to get that knot loosely built into the streams to the melancholy for the melodies and they play that for the heart for the strings that you make your own sweater. And a cold heart for the made for the former first hand for the before the mediocrity for the media for even that meditated for the medicated for the mediocre for the strategically sticky to me for the apologetic for the logic. No logic for no memory, no memo, no pen. Live better for the heart for that wouldn't be penetrated in injection. Premier for the prior to practice awareness that you wear beyond for the mind for the body and the spirit for the left being with no rights and no remorse and no Morse codes and no mortality. No radish for being and no matter for the really for the reason for the treating me. Tackling over the box and have to hook up to the bait for the days the catfish for another date to kill me for the prey. Me, secretarian for this awareness propaganda for the proposed proportions. Hanging by me for the meat, but only you for the not for the show. Put the heads and the hangman for the letters, so you can't read what you're saying, and all it was missing was the vowels to alter around your altar for that. But she used an alternative for the native, the alter ego for the lacking of the words and numbers of the last time for the accountability was the mentality. Lambs of the trees and mistreated for the trees, sweet misery for the message. If I find assimilate for the situation, insinuate for the bad taste that you'll give in your mouth that you couldn't chew, or suck it slowly for the enough for the throat. They wrote the same testament for the mint down for the testimony for the minuscule, minus that skull for the crown. Head. Killed me, I was dead. Went about your business instead, like a puppet. You can find it, this proposal. I can never that place. Sure.
Project the last time that you were here, and that was absolutely magnificent as well.
Thank you. On to the next.
Yeah.
Relish what talents you gifted from all the tally marks and arts and art that for the quenching of the parchment for the portraits and torch that for the light to illuminate the Illuminati for the Nazi propaganda for the agenda for the gender for the state of that for the mind. You relish what talents you gifted from all the tally marks and arts and art that for the quenching of the parchment for the portraits and torch that for the light to illuminate the Illuminati for the Nazi propaganda for the agenda for the gender. Relish what talents you gifted from all the tally marks and arts and art that for the quenching of the parchment for the portraits and torch that for the light to illuminate the Illuminati for the Nazi propaganda for the agenda for the gender for the state of that for the mind terrible wasted belts wrapped around the hypocrisy. Crying and mercy for the relying on the truth, for the change and the splitting, for the dollar for the doll hairs, brother, who the hears that for the ears, for the brother that for the looks and tell, for the narrative, for the be the naive enough to actually better than they know how. Not to do upon that for the three, for the trinity, for the meditate, for the millennials, and the centennials for free cells and sinking relationships in which the captain didn't go down with it, for the bells, for the failed that deck with the cards, chronic for the case that does with the eyes that feel still fail to be determined for the be determined, for the torrents and torrents, tear the fair for the share, who dare for the trifle of the deviant, wait for the being carried 10 times and on back for the trail, for the scent, for the queen of the fragrance, and not fragrant enough to be found for the flag, for the half mast, and that for the rent. Can't be accountable for the 1 to 10, for the missing 4 to 9, like the sophomore, hardly less than that with more for the raises, for the blessing, and spell breath for the self, and speak for the right to weaken, maybe that's what's wrong. Journey walk that for the stick, walking and he for the adverse of both sides of this affair. Fall off with Wall Street Journal that they wrote on to catch up with the delay for the sunset for the bright and disappear from the darkness and disappear from the sea until down the hills of the resting in a hidden place and find the paths of curriculum for the curves. Summoned to dispose, expedited for the indicted, for the indictionary, for the indictating, for the indecent, the exposure for the explained. Surely not for the favored by the jury, but less victimized by the truth. The next led, still lie about that, still lying about the night. This nightmare for the mirrors, we're going to find makeshift, find house and funny jokes inside of the one fingers across the doubt for the face of the route. Bring her a bounce of any fault. In the rings, in the corners, and turn the blocks and business there herself, so the surge and purge, and find the circuit boards and board. The circuits that they create, the track beats, cold hearts and free to burn. An ice box should have thawed out instead of the bathroom turn out. Turn it in and out for the weather drill, but the shit stop, or to go home for the burger, for the burger, the pizza, the release that for the fall, for the chicken, for the day, the trees, without one reason to change, automatically materialize the eye open and close. Ensure the pressure, sure, down, taking routes, without touting, wanting corners, cut, sharp, knives, naive, who knows better, place, bet, out, karmic, army, kingdom, Jesus, Father, Holy Ghost, detect, behind, further, future, beyond, now, 3, moral, sorrow, deserve, discovered, never, contorted, miss, lessons, wish, they didn't leave, aborted, the society for the spite, despite that for the spread, for the execution, execution, brother, it's caution, it's costing, the salt for the ball, for the laughter, for the bottle, for the bottle, for the game. Janitors for the vengeance, lie for the veneers, far out for the near, any future for the beyond that past, the time labels for the sad, for the numerous occasions to the occasion seasoning. See a sun for the soon, for the supplement for the Super Bowl, for the this will be the ballistic, for the live ballads, and validating for the calendar dates of the weekends, the strong sparks and part to part for the humping man, and line to imply for the simply and lies. License to Lucifer, to Lucy, that Luna, that tides and dies of answers, bleak, beach, color, rectal for the cancer, for the screening and screeches, or divine, determined for the deterred, divine, altars, Cupid, offers that for the helping in the hellscape, for the tried not for the non-prophets to profound purpose and not propose, profession, pose, head to toes and toes and notes and wrote that for the sure. Surely above water for the weather you can find the faith for the pipelines and piper down for the players of the flu for the flu. I signify the hypocrisy for the Chrissy, the shocker that for the shocker. Eyes behind that bush of administration, patience and panties apart that from the parties that they suck to leech and find the light. The suck on the energy for the erected for the effect that the effect behind that face. And this would be the honey for the lies next to you for the sweetheart for the dream. Hunt you when you're gonna get back for the one to possess and that for the not for the trap but you. You relish what talents you gifted from the
Somebody lit the house on fire. Somebody lit the crowd on fire.
Relish what talents you gifted from all the tally marks and arch and art that.
Nothing to say.
Relish what talents you gifted from all the tally marks and arch and art that for the quenching of the parchment, for the portraits and torch that for the light to illuminate. Relish what talents you gifted from all the tally marks and arch and art that for the quenching of the parchment, for the portraits and torch that for the light to illuminate the Illuminati, for the Nazi propaganda, for the agenda, for the gender, for the state of that, for the mind, terrible wasted belts wrapped around the hip. Relish what talents you gifted from all the tally marks and arch and art that for the quenching of the parchment, for the portraits and torch that for the light to illuminate the Illuminati, for the Nazi propaganda, for the agenda, for the gender, for the state of that, for the mind, terrible wasted belts wrapped around the hypocrisy. Crying and mercy for the relying on the truth, for the change and the splitting, for the dollar, for the doll hairs, brother. The ears that for the ears, for the brother that for the look, for the tell, for the narrative, for the be naive enough to actually better than they know how. Not to do upon that for the three, the trinity for the meditate, for the millennials, for the centennials for free the cells and sinking relationships in which the captain didn't go down with it, for the bells and the failed that deck with the cards, trying to creep the case that the iron left to deal with the peel steel the fail, determined for the beat and turn, for the torrents and torrents, tear the fair for the share, dare for the trice for the deep, scent of the gleam of the fragrance and not fragrant enough to be found from the flag of the half-mast and that was the rank. Can't be accountable for the one that came from the missing 4 through 9 like the sophomore. Hardly less than that for the war for the race. Blood, spell fast with spell will speak for the right to be weak and ending that's wrong. Journey walk, knack for the stick for the walking, and he took for the adverse of both sides of this affair. Fall off with Wall Street Journal, they wrote on to catch up with the delay to the sunset from the writing and then disappear from the darkness and disappears from the scene until dilated people from the rest of getting hit in the place and find the pounds of curriculum for the purpose. Summoned and disposed, expedited for the indicted for the dictionary for the indictating for the indecent exposure for the explained. Surely not for the favored by the jury, but less than the lines by the tree. Led, still lie about that truth, still lying about the night. Nightmare for the mirrors and the mirror, the find a makeshift for the fun house and the funny jokes aside for the pointing fingers across the down for the faith for the route. Bring her a bounce and mini fault. In the ring to the corners and turn the box to this is their self, so the surge and purge and find the circuit boards and pour. Circuits that they create the trapeze. Cold hearts and freezer burners. Ice boxes thawed out instead of that for the turnout. Turn it in and out for the weather, drove for the shift out, or to go home for the work for the burger, the needs and the beliefs that for the fall from the tree, the baby. Treat the trees without one reason to change, automatically materialize the eye open closed. Close to assure the pressure from the breathe, sure without taking routes, about pouting, wanting, corners, cut, sharp, knives, naive. No better, place, bet, out, karmic, army, kingdom, Jesus, Father, Holy Ghost, protect, behind, further, future, beyond, now, real, moral, sorrow, serve, discover, never, contorted, miss, lessons, wish they didn't leave reported in society despite that for the spread for the execution. Brother, this caution, this calls me soft for the boss for the laughter, for the brothers and bottles for the big, and that's for the vengeance, lies for the near, far out for the near, and the future from beyond that path, the kind of linked to the sadness of the numerous occasions in the case of season. See it, son, supplement for the Super Bowl for the listening to the listeners, the loud ballads, and validating for the calendar dates and the weekends, the strong sparks, and part depart for the hungry man, and why they imply for the simply your lies. License to Lucifer,
Project the last time that you were here, and that was absolutely magnificent as well.
For the cancer, for the screening and screeches, or the wine determined for the deter. Mind alters, Cupid offers that for the helping of the hellscape, for the try not for the non-profits to profound purpose and not propose. Profession, pose, ahead to toes and toes to toes and notes and wrote that for the sure. Surely a boat for the boat water for the weather. You can find the faith for the pipelines and piper down for the players of the flu. I sick and found the hypocrisy for the Chrissy, the shocker that for the shocker. Eyes behind that bush of administrators and patients and panties apart that for the parties that they suck the leads and find the light and suck on the energy for the wretched for the effect that effect behind that face and this will be the honey for the lodge next to you for the sweetheart for the dream. Hunt you when they get back for the one of the possess and that for the not for the trap.
Relish what talents you gifted from all the tally marks and arch.